Alex, it sure felt like a fall Saturday this afternoon in Lincoln as 85,946 Nebraska fans filed into Memorial Stadium today for the second largest attended spring game in Big Red history, falling just shy of Scott Frost's first spring game last year. Ashland native Ben Stilley bringing out the state of Nebraska flag to honor those affected by the flooding. First quarter, no score. Adrian Martinez to Cade Warner, son of NFL Hall of Famer Kurt Warner, a pickup of 57 on the play. Down to the 7-yard line, red team in business. Few plays later, Martinez keeps it himself, 60-yard touchdown run. Red team on the board 6-0. On the ensuing white team drive, Bellevue West grad Jalen Bradley gonna take the handoff, gonna pick up 18 yards on the play. Bradley would be the leading rusher on the afternoon. 12 carries, 57 yards, but the drive would stall later in the first. The white team's Andrew Bunch finds Miles Jones. Nice pitch and catch here for 22 yards will lead to a 27-yard Barrett Pickering field goal, makes 7-3 Big Red. Still in the first, Martinez finds Austin Allen, a pickup of 30 on the play, but the drive would end up stalling. Then late in the first quarter, Bunch back to pass again, this time picked off by Markel Dismuke, who takes it all the way down inside the white team's 20-yard line. Then in the second quarter, the red team takes advantage. Martinez hits Jerron Woodyard from 21 yards out to make it 14-3. Red team, Coach Frost having some fun with the refs. Later in the second, after the whites cut it to 14-6, Brody Belt, we've heard about him, the Millard West alum, the 13-yard gain. Later in the drive, Wyatt Mazur caps it off with a 1-yard touchdown plunge. Red up at that point, 21-6, and all the kiddos in the crowd loving it. Just before the break, red team not done yet. Barrett Pickering 45 yards into the win. That is good. Red up 24-6 at the break in the third quarter. Noah Vedral gonna find Jamie Nance, who gets nailed by Avery Anderson. The ball pops into the arms of Jordan Pop. Credit the white team with the interception. Later in the third, the whites Matt Masker deep to Wyatt Luer, who lures it in. 55-yard touchdown, 24-13 Red. Then in the fourth quarter, freshman QB Luke McCaffrey. His pass is tipped into the hands of Omaha North grad Chad Alioth. It was a defensive kind of day as the red team goes on for the win today, 24-13. Adrian Martinez, 5 of 9 through the air for 110 yards and a touchdown. Also had that rushing touchdown. Overall, a solid spring, according to Coach Frost.
Spring games are wonderful. It's a great chance for us to showcase to the great fans that we have, but I thought overall it was good. I would have liked to seen the red team come out with a little more fire and execute a little better at the beginning. They did some good things, but I don't think it was consistent enough. Overall, with the entirety of spring, I'm fairly pleased.
The defense showed the improvement coaches have been seeing all spring, tallying a total of 7 sacks combined while forcing 3 interceptions.
Maybe more pleased than I expected to be. They got a lot better, and they played freer. They ran around a lot better. I think almost position by position, I saw improvement.
We got to come on the field thinking that we want to be the best defense in the Big Ten. We got so much better throughout the spring. Every time we hit the field, it has to be like that. While
Adrian Martinez is the obvious #1 quarterback coming out of the spring game, the backup job's still up for grabs. Head coach Scott Frost saying that if an actual game were played today, Noah Vedral would be the #2.
Noah's a good player, and I think the fans got to see a little bit of that today. You know, actually, I think the offense did better today than sometimes during spring. It was a good performance by the defense, not the best I've seen this spring. There's been times where we couldn't move the ball at all this spring, which is a good sign for our defense.
As for Scott Frost, the second-year head coach watched Saturday's spring game without a headset and often greeted former players on the sidelines.
I also like to see have our players see those guys back and see what it means to be a Husker football player and see how it goes with you your whole life and see how the fans still know who you are. There really is no place like Nebraska as far as that goes. If you're a great player here, people are going to remember you the rest of your life.
Here's how it looked by the numbers. The red team racking up nearly 400 total yards, 254 of those through the air. A combined 3 turnovers and 12 penalties. Not great, though. Adrian Martinez, meanwhile, fairly effective in his brief appearance. Noah Vedral, a decent 13 of 19 through the air today for 144 yards, 1 score, and 1 pick. Jalen Bradley, a good end to spring ball, 12 carries for a game-high 57 yards. Meanwhile, Brody Belt, 13 rushes for 53 yards. Meanwhile, receiving-wise, Miles Jones, impressive Saturday, 3 catches for 44 yards. Todd Honus making the most of his playing time Saturday with 3 receptions for 39 yards. Well, the Huskers landed a huge commit today for the class of 2020. We'll hear more on that, plus hear from Fred Hoiberg a bit later in sports. For now, Alex, back to you.